Hey guys, how's it going on? It's here. Welcome to a new F1 2014 career mode on the channel. Starting off here again with the practice around the CODA circuit, so circuit of the Americas. Getting into our car here then. So obviously the Force India. There we go. Engineer strapping us into the car with the belts, and there comes the steering wheel. So after Sochi, Suzuka, we are now here in America. The two races have been a little bit disappointed, the two last races, especially Sochi, but that was mainly as well during the rain. So I was quite motivated here as we see a first practice then starting the very first lap actually. You know, being quite slow here, getting used to the track, but yeah, Sochi not really the result which we wanted, especially because of the rain. Also Suzuka went not that great, so you want to make up for that. We did very well in Spa when we joined Force India. I remember we got a podium place there, and we want to carry that momentum through, but we couldn't really do that. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck in this game, that the AI is just not as quick as normally around a certain track. But also obviously it depends on your own performance, and this is a track which I don't hate it, I don't love it either. It's just neutral, I guess. I like the first sector quite a bit, but after that, yeah, it's quite okay. It's not too bad actually. The final sector is a little bit twisty and whatnot, but it's okay. It's not too bad actually. So first lap then, I got the 100 board down to second gear for this very first time. As you can see there, I missed my apex a little bit, so obviously it's a very scruffy lap as it's also the first lap. And then this section here is a little bit Mickey Mouse, a little bit tricky, especially this corner here. This is very important though. I want to carry a lot of speed into the corner, but also take a wide entry and cut back to the apex, straighten up the car as much as possible for the exit. And this one is full throttle, flat out. I didn't go flat out there, as I said, just getting a feel for this. This corner is incredibly hard to not cut and not extend. We'll keep an eye out on that in qualifying for sure. That's the very first lap completed, and final corner to go. A little bit too much over the curb there, as you can saw there. We'll settle off the car slightly, especially rear end, but nothing too major. 146.858 is the very first lap time we set around this track. So skipping a little bit ahead in this first practice session, lap later, you can already see that I am going to improve that lap time. The DRS is wide open, 146.1. There are two DRSs around this track, one down this main straight and one down the very long auto straight. I'm sure you know what I mean. A little bit later, still improving, even though it's on older tires, but obviously the fuel load is a little bit less, so the car is a little bit lighter. Currently about a 10th up on our teammates, so that's pretty good as well. Obviously it's still practice, and we know that the AI usually picks up quite a bit of pace in the qualifying session. Having a look here through the first sector. This is all flat, listen to the engine. Lift there, then down to 5th, back on the throttle again, go over those curbs. And actually a 10th down there, but that's the way usually you want to take that. And this is the straight I was talking about. The other DRS zone, there we go, DRS is wide open here. Currently lap 10. 5 laps of fuel, so I think I went to the pit lane, probably the setup adjustment, and then went back out again. And again, a little bit too deep into the corner, missing my apex slightly. Let's have a look at the lap time. Oh, 2 tenths up, 2.5 tenths up in fact on Rosberg, but 6 tenths up on ourselves. That would put me at a 44.3. And Rosberg has done a 43.6, so I need to find another 6 tenths in this final sector preferably, if I want to end up in first place, but I don't think I'm running at rich mixture just yet, so it's looking quite good so far at the moment. The penultimate corner, let's have a look. Nicely over the curb. That's pretty blind in the cockpit view actually, you don't really see the apex. In the final corner, hitting the curb. Again, unsteadies the car a little bit, nothing too major though. The lap time is a 143.5, so still gaining a little bit of time there in that final sector as well. Alonso topped the timesheet in the end with a 43.1, so I expect the Mercedes cars to go into the 42s easily towards the end of the session. You can see it there as well. It started to rain, but that's the first practice session done. We're gonna go into qualifying then, getting into our car yet again, and it should be a dry qualifying session. Yes, it is indeed dry. For the rain we will also, I think, have a dry race. It's been quite a long while since I recorded this, so I cannot really remember, but I think it was dry, which is usually good for us. So Q1 then, I said the first lap time, which is a 150.7. I said a 44.7, or sorry, 44.4 already. But that's not really the lap time I want to get. I want to be a little bit faster than that. in order to be in the safe zone. I think I'm on the prime tire as well, so let's give it another shot. So you see here, not giving it my all, going down to mix 2. It's obviously Q1, and also I'm on the prime tire, but purple so far in that first sector. A 10 up on Rosberg and also a 10 up on our previous lap as Rosberg. I said a 143.4, so they are going into the low 43s. And there we go. This corner is very, very important. It leads onto this very long straight. Brake just off the one on me board, down to second, hit the apex. There we go. And straighten up the car, get on the power. You see a Mercedes in our mirrors. It's probably Rosberg. Not to mix 3 for this very long straight. I went for mix 3 here, obviously, because you just need this power. Or need that power during this straight. Not bothering going up to 8th gear though. Get a little bit deep into there. It's just my line, I guess. Although I'm pretty sure it's not the quickest line. There's a little bit of time in that second sector. 200s down on Ricciardo, who set his fastest lap time with a 144.1. But still a 10 up on ourselves. Lost a little bit of time though in that second sector. A little bit too deep into the corner as well. Never hit the apex. Compromised my exit speed quite a bit as well. Let's have a look. Full throttle here. Bit of oversteer on corner entry. Bit more oversteer mid corner. Up to mix 3. Penultimate corner then. Let's have a look. Hit the apex. That was fantastic. Couldn't have gone any better through that corner really. Final corner to go down to second again. Hit the apex. And on the power. DRS wide open for the run to the line. It's a 143.9. So into the 43s on prime. Not too bad. Half a second up on our previous lap time. With, well, not the best final sector time. So I still think we can improve. Even on the prime tire. So Hamilton instead of 143.1. So already in the Q1. Or in Q1 they are already in the low 43s. So probably they go into the low 42s or high 32s. 42s in this session already. And the session is obviously Q2 then. So the top 10 will advance to Q3. This first corner, brake at the one on me board, obviously goes downhill quite a bit. Nicely hitting the apex there. Get on the power on the exit then. Lots of wheel spin as well. Coming through this first sector now. Left, right, listen to the engine. Up, down to 5th, down to 4th. Hit the apex again. It's a bit of a double apex there. Good first sector so far. Hamilton has set a banker lap of a 146.1. Surely it's going to get beaten. To mix 3 yet again for the run to this corner here. Going to mix 1 for the traction zones around this track, in fact. Yeah, I don't see a big difference between mix 3 and lean 1 or mix 1 in the traction zone. So why not use mix 1? I'll explain you. Using mix 1 obviously goes a little bit less power to the wheels. Going too deep into this corner. Cannot get this corner right all weekend really. Going too deep in there. But here you see me as well going to mix 1. You obviously get less power, but you don't really need the power on the traction, Also too much power can be a bad thing. Not only for the tire but also for the lap time. Too much wheel spin is not the perfect traction. As you see Bottas doing a 42.4. So wow, that's a great lap time from Bottas, has to be said. Let's see whether we can get into the top 10 here. It would be good, obviously, for us if we could get in the top 10 and make it into Q3 again. A little bit deep here, not the best lap. A bit of a scruffy lap. Let's see what we can do though. 142.9, so not too bad actually. I went into the 42s myself as well. And still there's room for improvement. Towards the end of the second qualifying here, you see me half a 10th down. My previous lap time. A 10th up on Hamilton though, so we're quick in that first sector. Just losing it in the second sector. Maybe it's down to the top speed, not sure. Let's have a look here and listen to the engine. Listen to the power input as well right now. Slowly building up the power. Trying to minimize wheel spin, get the best traction as possible, the best exit as possible. I should say the rest once again wide open. With a run down to the next corner. There's only one more car on track. We're getting one on me. Let's see whether I get it right this time. Yes, I did indeed. Hitting the curb nicely. That was sweet. And indeed, you can see me there. It gained 3 tenths. That is a lot. Still 4 tenths down on Hamilton though. So Hamilton set a great lap time. But 3 tenths up on ourselves. Not bad. And currently, as you can see, we are in P9. Which is good enough for Q3. And actually, there's only one more guy out on track. So, I go to mix 1 here and I give up on my lap because I could obviously finish the lap, but I don't see the point of finishing it because I'm gonna go to Q3 anyway. So I abandon the lap even though I was 3 tenths up. And there we go, back into the pit lane. And Hamilton is in the 141s, I think. I think he said 141.5. Yes, he did indeed. So they, you know, did a 43.1 in Q1, or sorry, in the practice. And now at the end of Q2, they are in the mid 41s. That's insane, obviously. Anyway, talking about Q3, this is Q3. Starting to lap here. Our qualifying objective is to finish in 11th or above. And obviously we'll try to do that. Not the best first corner ever. A little bit too far off the apex. Could have really hit the curb there. That's really what you want to do. Nonetheless, keep on going. That's obviously what you've got to do. Over those curbs here. Make sure you don't cut it. That's easy to do. This is the first apex then. And then kaboom, come back right at it. I missed it a little bit there. This is also important. Have a sweet line through here. Again, I just keep going a little bit too deep into the corners. It's only by half a meter or so. It's not a lot at all. But it is those extra tenths you lose. See how we do this time. Slow the car down to second. Again, it's just that half a meter which I am missing here. Maybe even less. Just not having to turn in, I expect, the whole time. Let's see whether I switch it up to 8th gear. No, I don't. Keeping it in 7th. Down the gears again. Yeah, a little bit closer to the apex, but still not really what you want to do. You can go over that curb completely. This is so important here. But pretty well. The initial turn didn't go too well there. You could hear the tires locking up as well, but then the car suddenly gripped up, went to the apex nicely. Ricciardo immediately in the 41s, 41.9 by Ricciardo. Penultimate corner. Oh, very, very early on the power there. Great. Also not extending the corner. Final corner then, a little bit deep again. You're wide open for the run to the line. We'll do a 142.6. Quickest lap so far of the weekend. Not bad at all. I'm actually very happy with that. End of the session, again, as you can see here, going out, as Hamilton has set a 141.0. If that doesn't give him ball position, then I don't know it anymore. But in the meantime, we have dropped to 10th position. I don't know what kind of lap time Bottas has set. But we're gonna have to give it our best shot here if we want to go into a higher spot. Nailing the curb there, a little bit untidy on the exit though. It cost me a 10th or so, nothing too major though. Still carry on. I think I actually improved so far because I hit the apex there a lot better than I did on my previous lap. Over those curbs here. Down to 4th. Hitting the curb this time and indeed half a 10th up. So a better first sector. And again too deep into here though. Down to 3rd. And it's just understeering quite a bit here with the elevation and height changes on this track. It's quite insane. Let's have a look. Down to 2nd. Hitting the curb. Yeah, I did indeed hit the curb, but still you can go over it a little bit more. That's just the whole story of this video basically. It's just a couple of centimeters which I am short. Again here, let's see whether I go a little bit too deep in there. Obviously braking late and indeed missing the apex completely there. Keeping on going. And indeed we've lost a little bit of time there. Not too major though. I think I lost about 0.08 of a second. Even though we went too deep into that corner, which surely costs you a 10th or 2, maybe even 3. Because it also compromises the exit. Carrying a lot of speed through there though. Up to rich mixture, then this is flat out. Make sure you keep your wheel as straight as possible, otherwise the car, or the rear end of the car is going to come loose. Yeah, so early on the power on the exit of that corner then. And then I actually didn't think at that time that corner was clean. So I went into the replay, having a look here, and I see that it's actually clean. I wanted to make sure that it was clean because I did not want to have a cut there, but then it's very, very hard to get back into the game and concentrate on the final corner. But in fact, the final corner went pretty well. I nailed the curb quite a bit, and in the end I improved by a 10th or so with a 42.5. It puts me ahead of Bottas, so not the final place in this Q3, but Q9 for tomorrow then. So not too bad at all, pretty happy with that. So that is the first practice session and the qualifying. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed it, I would appreciate the like. See you next time. Goodbye.